Waiting, and it looks like we are live, people. Cool. All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to DevRunner. My name is Paul, and this is episode 5, live stream 5 of the Masters of YouTube. And I'm very privileged today to be joined by Heather from Running Geek Girl and Brian from Rosser Runs. We hope at some point that Susie will be able to join us, but she's got several challenges going on today. So we hope to hear from her. But if we do not, Susie, we know you're here in spirit, and we can't wait to see you next time. So with that said, everyone, I want to introduce the topic that we're going to be talking about today, and we're going to be talking about heat training, running in the heat, and all aspects of that. But before we get into deep, I want to give everybody on screen with me an opportunity to talk about what's happened in the last month with you guys since our last live stream and what's coming up in the next few weeks for you. So Heather, if you want to get us started, that'd be awesome.
Hi, I'm Heather from Running Geek Girl. And let's see, over the last month, I did an event with Potterhead Running Club, which is a Harry Potter themed online running club. We do virtual races throughout the whole year for various charities, and all the medals are Harry Potter themed. So we have an event every spring that we call Spring Quidditch, where the 4 houses are competing against each other. We're trying to get house points that all goes towards the house cup at the end of the year. And, you know, which we don't get anything but a, cool shirt out of it. But, it's house pride kind of thing. And so Quidditch took place over the course of 10 and a half days, at which I was pledged to do 15 miles every day of that. So 165 miles total, because that last half day I went ahead and got everything in early enough for it to count towards our points. So spent a lot of time recovering from that. And
imagine.
Yeah. And now I'm more or less kind of changing up my training schedule, sort of doing, getting more short runs in throughout the week, and still working towards the Little Rock Marathon in November. And other than that, coming up this next month, I'm going to be taking a trip, and I'll be gone for a couple of weeks, and I'll be doing some videos about running on the beach and running in warmer weather, and how to just kind of adapt around being in a new location. So,
what beaches are you headed?
Fort Walton Beach.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Very, very interesting. I'm into the beach life. I'm a mountain man. Definitely like the forest and the trails and stuff like that. But a good time out on the beach, like a week or so, really helps center people and reset.
Oh yeah, the beach is my happy place.
Yeah. Running on sand sucks though.
It's just so hard.
But I mean, it's really hard. But once I come back from the beach, I'm like, wow, my legs feel so strong. So
yeah, definitely different terrain for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hey, I just want to give a quick shout out to Joel Ruddy. You will learn the significance of Joel in just a few minutes when I kind of go through.
Hi, Joel.
Yeah, he's a great guy, by the way, everybody. So, but Heather, do you have anything else that you like, not just, coming up or anything, anything else you want to talk about? Like what you've been up to on your website or on your YouTube channel even?
Well, I've just done my monthly update video. And so I've got several videos that are already scheduled to come out so that I don't have to really do a whole lot of work while I'm on vacation. So another episode of Running Geek Girl Book Club, another episode of Run the USA. I'm going to be taking a look at the season 9 of the Zombie Runs app. And so I'll be giving my thoughts on that. I'm doing some taste tests of Element powdered hydration.
Yeah, so I'm actually really looking forward to some of the flavors that you're going to be talking about.
So I've filmed a couple of those ahead of time just so I can schedule those to come out as well. And so I'm having fun with that. And in other news, we finally have live theater coming back to our area, which is something I'm very, very involved in, always have been since I was about 5 or so. And they've cast me in the lead in a show. And so I've got rehearsals coming up. I got to start studying scripts and things like that. So I also plan on having a vlog just kind of showing people backstage at a theater company. So
how cool is that?
You know,
Yeah.
kind of addressing the geek part of my name. So, because
Right.
I put stuff other than running sometimes. It doesn't always do as well, but I'm being true to the geek thing, just kind of showing a little bit of who I'm about. So
I think that's so awesome that you're kind of diversifying a little bit and just letting people see you from different angles. That's awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people, a lot of other channels hit up a little bit more of their personal life and stuff other than just running. I know Chris Furlong, I think we spoke about him before.
Yeah.
He does a lot of reselling and things like that, and he branched out on TikTok and stuff, and he's blowing up. Like he's the last like 30 days or so, he's got like another 100 or 200 like subs and stuff like that. So he's been
good for him. He deserves it.
Yeah. So yeah, no. Sometimes people want to meet the people,
Exactly. Well, speaking of that, Brian, tell us a little bit more about what you've been up to too.
Yeah. I'm Brian from Awesome Runs. I'm the ultra runner. Let's see. I'm coming up to my 100K, World's End 100K that I've been training for. I've had a series going on. I still have a few episodes in backlog, which they'll spit out over time. The race is this Saturday though. So I've been training since January on it with a coach. This is the first year that I had a coach. Talk about her in all the videos, promote her because, she does awesome. She did more than just coach me for running. It was with all my crazies, it's always good to have somebody there to listen, on my notes for my runs and stuff like that. I put in probably TMI of what's going on, which helps out a lot. So, customized everything. So I've been working on that for about 6 months now, into the 100K. And
awesome.
I feel physically ready. Mentally, though, things have been very screwy because I live in a part of Pennsylvania where the weather fluctuates heavily to where it's a 30-40 degree difference every few days.
Wow.
It hits, and now we just hit I think everybody's getting it on the East Coast here, but starting the beginning of a heat wave. So it's been real muggy and rainy all the time, and weather is my number one trigger for my bipolar and stuff like that. So it destroys me. Migraines. That's the thing that I'm worried about for the weekend is the weather affecting me enough to where the true warrior is not at the race. It's somebody surviving and running a race. So as for the training aspect though, I could run 200 miles if I wanted to, now, with the right logistics behind it. But
don't you love that feeling when you're physically there? There's no better feeling in the world.
Yeah, I know running is really strange because depends on who shows up that day, as in what personality, there might be days that I could run 20, 30 miles and be like, that was awesome. And I could run another 20, 30 miles with no effort. But then there's days that I run 10 miles and it's, I'm on the struggle bus, heavy, nothing's working mentally, physically. But yeah, I'm at a point now in running to where it's just a number. So if I'm running with somebody and they're like, yeah, we're going to run 15 miles or 30 miles or 10 miles, it's like, yeah, when and where, whatever, so
cool.
But I've been just finished a 50 miler. I had and it was the Barn Loop 50 mile for suicide prevention, and raised a couple $100 on that. I'm halfway at my goal. I'm at $5,000. We're looking to do 10 grand, another $5,000 this year. I have the 100K race coming up, and then I have a 24-hour event that I want to run 100 miles in July. That's usually pretty big for us. It's going to be the 3rd annual 24-hour run walk for suicide prevention. It's a 3-mile loop. I'm just going to be banging through it when other people are going to be doing a 3-mile loop every hour on the hour, like a backyard ultra. But I got the 50 miler done. Just dropped a video on that as well, talking about it. I ran it solo, except for one loop. I had my training partner. She came in between mile 30 and 35, which saved me because I was really bonking hard. But when she came in, I was fine after that, like when she left. But she's also going to pace me for the last portion this Saturday from mile 50 to the mile 64.
Oh, that's awesome.
At nighttime, there's 2 giant climbs, like 1,000-foot climb twice. And I told her, and we've run that part a few times before on the trail. I told her, you just got to keep me moving. That's all. Like it's going to suck. And she's like, what do I do? I was like, it's just a training run, to get me to the finish. So, yeah. But yeah, she came and she ran a one loop with me, and got some really good footage, like throughout the whole day. Lost like 60% of my footage. I don't know what the hell happened because I do all my editing on my phone. The only time I use my laptop is for live streams and the transfer files and like to put it on hard drives and stuff. I don't know what the hell I did with it. So I must have ran out of space on my phone and deleted certain things that I wasn't supposed to. I can't find them on anywhere. So yeah, you can only get the same view so many times though, because I did the 50 mile was a 5-mile loop and I did it 10 times. So you can only, you can only see so much within, that same 5-mile loop. So, I may do what I had and, banged out a 50 miler, still had fun.
Yeah.
Still had, if you watch the end, like I ran like a sub 8 mile the last mile.
I was about to say, your pace on that last mile was amazing.
Yeah, like I was able to run. I definitely could have went further. I definitely did not want to go further, but like, I was able to, and it was 5,000 feet of climb for the whole thing. So, and I had my logistics coordinator for suicide prevention stuff. She came and cell phone vertically, like a part. Like me coming in and stuff like that. So I did have 1 or 2 people show up for support, but it's basically done on my own. It was a progressive training run, bumping into the 100K, bumping into a 100-miler. August, I'm thinking about doing 150 on a trail. And then I'm going to either find in the future, there's 1 or 2 marathons that I might just dabble in a marathon and see if I can bang one out. See if I could PR off of my ultra training. And there's a 50 miler that I'm looking into and a 100K that's badass that I'm looking into. But the 50 miler and 100Ks are late in the fall, and that's when I start to crash really bad. So maybe I might do them to try to keep me on point and more stable and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I got tons of videos set up. It's whether my mind and body allows me to do some of the ideas. But I, same thing as what you guys have. Like I have certain things in the pipeline and, like and subscribe, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Cool. All right. I want to take this opportunity to do some shout outs here. We have been joined by Anthony from Running for My Best Life. We have been joined by Goku Runner. We've been joined by my wife, Pam, and Dr. Andrew, DPT, has also joined us. So happy to have you all here. Thank you for joining us. Let's see, what am I going to do here? Before I get into what I've been up to lately, I just want to address this question from Anthony. Did you guys get your run in yesterday for Global Running Day? Yesterday I did. Today I plan to go out again, but I did not. I'm all down on myself about that. But yes, yesterday I did manage 8 miles, I believe. So how about you, Heather?
I ended up doing, I went out for a 5K, ended up doing 5 miles and went out and did hills today. So yay.
Cool.
Hills. Blah. Yeah, I got out. There's a mountain that I could see from my window. So it's about a mile from my house. It's private property. I got permission to run on it. It's logging trails. So I'm in taper week. So I needed to get 6 to 8 miles in or so. So I just went on there. I didn't go. There's a couple of logging paths that I could take, and I stayed to the bottom half so I don't have to, because going to the top is like 1,200 feet or so to the top. And yeah, I got in like 7 miles or so. I did a global running video. Had the GoPro and everything. Had it on some screwed up settings. I don't know what the hell I did. Dude, sometimes like I have the right intentions, but like I don't know, the stabilization wasn't on. The color was all blown out. I couldn't use any of it. I deleted all the footage. I did like a short for Global Running Day on there because there's tons of like giant machinery that are on there for logging, which is super cool. And they're like, yeah, just don't go on the equipment. And it's like, yeah, no worries. So like I showed some of that, but yeah, I got out for Global Running Day. I did not run today. Tomorrow is a 30-minute just chill, and then Saturday is my race. So
yeah, you don't want to be pushing too hard now. You gotta just save it for race day.
Word.
Cool. All right. So let me just I'm going to do a quick rundown of what I've been up to lately. I feel a little silly because usually I'm like struggling to find something to say, and I feel like this month so much has happened. I've actually written down a list here, so bear with me here. Let's see. Today's Thursday, so 3 days ago I turned 52 years old. I'm an old man.
Yay!
Even more officially now.
You are old. Yep.
So let's see. What else has happened? Last time the three of us got together, I had just gone through the RRCA coaching certification classes. Since then, 2 weeks ago, I actually passed the RRCA coaching certification exam. 99%. Ooh, I'm happy with that.
I don't think I've ever gotten 99% in anything.
Neither have I. So where I'm at now, as far as my ability to call myself coach, I am not this coming weekend, but the weekend after that, I'm going to be going through my CPR first aid training. And once I get certified for that, then I'm officially an RRCA coach. So I'm real happy with that. And let's see, what else do I have coming up? I wanted to shout out this coming Monday evening, I'm going to be a guest on Dr. Dwayne Scotty's Healthy Runner podcast. And we're going to be talking about basically motivation and finding your mental edge in the marathon. So I'm real happy that I was asked to do that. It should be a lot of fun. So everybody, if you're not already subscribed or, in your favorite podcast thingy, go find the Healthy Runner podcast. It's awesome. And if you're not already familiar with Dwayne's YouTube channel or his podcast or his coaching services or his PT services, he's incredible. He's been at it for 18 years, and boy, if there's one person who can come close to knowing it all, he's the guy. So keep an eye out for his stuff, and
drop it in the show notes.
Absolutely, great idea. Yeah, I should have done that beforehand, but you know me.
So close.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. The only other things I want to mention before we get into the actual topic for the day is as far as what's coming up on my channel. I'm going to be starting 2 new series. One is going to be very similar to what I've done in the past, where you're going to be following me from week to week as I train towards a 2-hour and 45-minute marathon, which will likely be taking place at the Kiowa Island, South Carolina Marathon on December 11th, I believe is the date. It's the 10th or the 11th. And so you'll be watching me blow myself up for the next few months. And the other big series that I'm getting ready to start involves the very first person who said hi in the chat, Joel Ruddy. He is going to be one of my first coaching clients.
Yay!
He is going to be attempting his first Boston qualifying marathon time, and it is my responsibility to get him there. So the pressure is on, and I know Joel's been running for several longer than me, so over 10 years at least. So he's got the experience. It's just my job to kind of put maybe a finer point on what he's doing for his training. And in addition to Joel, we will also see the return of a face that many subscribers to my channel will recognize. Michael Bartlett has participated in 5Ks and 10K time trials with me in the past. And he is also going to allow me to coach him in his attempt to run a half marathon in less than 1 hour and 35 minutes.
Wow.
So we've got a couple of guys here who are looking for some major speed. So I will be challenged, but I will try to keep my head screwed on straight and get these guys to where they want to go. So what else is there? The only other thing I want to plug is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time, a new video will be dropping on my channel, a new subscriber spotlight where I will be talking to Andy Rayner, who is probably better known to everyone as FOD Runner or Forested Dean Runner. So that's the end of my long laundry list of what's going on with me. So with that, guys, I want to ask you all to talk a little bit about what is sort of the secret sauce for you guys to switch over from the lovely and wonderful winter and springtime running to when the heat comes on, because that's where most of us are right now, at least in the Northern Hemisphere. The heat is about to hit us over the head. So I'd love to know, Heather, what is the big thing that you do to see you through the summer?
Complain about it a lot.
Second that.
Yeah, that's my go-to move. Yeah, I start paying a lot more attention to my hydration, which, I sweat and lose. I'm a salty sweater, and so I lose those electrolytes so fast. And so I really have to pay attention to everything that's going on as far as my hydration goes. But
Gotcha.
The big thing is I usually just remind myself that if it's that hot and that humid outside, I'm just not going to be as fast. And it's okay to slow it down a little. I don't need to push for the same times that I get in the spring and in the fall when I have more ideal weather, or even in the winter, when you just get out there and you run because it's the only way to stay warm. But, you just kind of have to accept that you just may not be as fast. And that's okay, because your body and your heart are still putting in the same amount of effort. And once the weather cools down again, then you're going to see that you haven't lost anything by slowing down a little.
Exactly. I'm so glad you said that, because that's the big thing is judge your fitness by the effort you're putting in. If you're suddenly slowing down 90 seconds per mile, but it feels the same as when you were running that fast formerly, don't worry. As Heather said, you haven't lost anything. Once that humidity drops and that temperature comes back down, you'll be flying again. So don't let that be one less thing you worry about when you're out there training everybody.
Yeah, as a ultra runner, I don't look at pace. It's that's like a 5% looked at statistic to me. The only time I really look at that is like in races for cutoffs and stuff like that.
Right.
I go solely off of effort, because I'm going to be climbing giant mountains at times. So like I can't run a consistent 8-minute mile pace. There might be some areas that it takes me 26 minutes to get up this thing, and you're jiking it, or like trying not to pass out or go blind because you could see your heartbeat in your eyes and stuff like that. Yeah. So like the things that I'm concentrating on are the mileage and elevation, not for heat training. I'm just saying that I don't pace. I go off of like effort. So they definitely have to be, that helps fine tune the body, because what happens if you're in mid race and your watch doesn't work or something and you're stuck to that number, you might not understand what that number correlates to actual effort, physically and mentally. So like, it's all up here for me. So
glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Cool. So it sounds like we're all on the same page on that. So let's
for
see.
for hydration piece, Heather, monitoring that. When you go out, say fall and springtime, are you carrying a handheld or a bottle of water or nothing? And like, how are you monitoring your actual intake? Are you saying that I have to drink X amount at certain times? Because once again, you guys have a different mentality than I do. Like you guys are, I know most road runners and marathon people are tailored to like statistics on like certain ticks,
Right.
you know, like every 3 miles I have to, or whatever. Is that something like handhelds, like certain time frames, things like that?
A lot of times I'll either carry a handheld or I'm going to loop past the same place over and over. And so I'll keep a drink there. And typically what I'll do is I'll just kind of gauge how I'm feeling. What is the weather doing? And I'll say, okay, every 3 miles, I'm going to take in 4 more ounces, or, maybe every 20 minutes, I'm going to stop and get another drink, just depending on how everything's feeling that day.
Yeah, that's great advice. So, yeah. I think for me, the big thing that changes for me once the heat really hits, which down here in North Carolina is usually like early March when it starts getting somewhat painful. The big thing for me, and the reason I wanted to bring this up is because it's somewhat counterintuitive. Not a lot of people, as far as newer runners, necessarily realize this until they're years into their running career. But the first thing I do once the heat hits consistently is I go out in the hottest part of the day for my runs. And the reason I do that is because of something called heat adaptation, which I think this is an important enough point for me to actually go back and read a quick little bullet point here. When you heat adapt, it usually takes you about 2 weeks if you go out to run 2 or 3 times a week with efforts anywhere between like 45 minutes and 90 minutes per effort. And what you get for running in the heat and torturing yourself like that is you will actually start sweating at a lower body core temperature instead of getting like super heated and then finally your body realizes, oh, I better start cooling myself. Mm-hmm. It's all hundreds of papers have proven these points that I'm about to share. But
your cooling defenses kick on at a sooner, lower body temperature.
Exactly, and the huge advantage to that is that you can continue moving faster if you're cooling naturally. The other big thing is that you also increase your blood plasma volume, which allows you 2 big things. Number 1, it allows you to sweat more. Number 2, it also, because you've got more liquid blood available, you can continue working your muscles hard. Even though you are sweating hard, it doesn't suddenly, your body doesn't kick into immediate and start channeling everything away from your muscles just to try to save your life.
Is it oxidizing the system better as well for like less effort with that? Well, I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm not that smart.
No. From what I know, it's kind of like it allows you to maintain your effort as if it was cooler. Okay. So everything your body does, it just continues. It gives you a higher ceiling. Exactly. It gives you a higher ceiling because you're creating more blood. So
well, another big important part of this is kind of knowing how much humidity is going on in addition to the heat, because absolutely. if you don't live in a particularly humid area, then it may not be as much of a problem. I know here it's like you could chew the air. It's so humid. Yeah. And if it's very humid and you're sweating, the reason your body sweats is because it's trying to carry heat out of your body through the sweat. But if it's humid, that sweat can't evaporate and take the heat with it. And so you kind of run into a little bit of a weird area there. So you kind of have to be aware of that being an issue, because that's another thing that your body kind of has to learn to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. Humidity is a huge deal, because I mean, if you, like Heather's saying, if you live in Arizona and it's just a dry heat, as long as you can take that heat, then you're good. But once the humidity hits, then your body, your skin can't evaporate that liquid off, which means your body core temperature goes up way faster. So, the other, there's 3 more bullets I want to make here, and then we're off to the races again. But if you heat train, your body also adapts by keeping your heart rate lower at higher temperatures. It increases oxygen consumption, coming back to what you were saying, Brian.
Okay.
Which also means improved lactic acid processing, which means your muscles are not going to get as tired or as sore as quickly.
Fry. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And then the very last big thing that you want to watch out for is, basically as a result of everything else we've just said, your running economy remains better, right, despite the heat. So that's one of those things. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I spent several years. I would see, I'd get my runs done way early in the morning, trying to beat the heat, like anyone sane would do. But whenever I would be out and about with the family, and I would see runners like middle of the day killing themselves out there, I'd think, my initial thought was always to myself was, what a moron. What are they doing themselves to? Why are they doing that to themselves? And once I started learning this stuff, I was like, okay, admittedly, I was the moron. It's like, But okay, before we get any deeper into things here, folks, I want to give another couple of shout outs. We've got Avon Marv from Toronto saying hot stuff coming his way, and he's not so sure he wants to get out there in that kind of heat and try running in the heat. We also have Daniela Joy, who is a wonderful YouTube host. She is from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and she has a wonderful fitness channel where she has been documenting for quite a long time now her journey into good health. The other thing I want to shout out about her is that we've been talking behind the scenes, and we are going to start working together. I want to help Daniela become a runner. So she's already an amazing fitness person. She does.
Don't do it, Danielle.
I figured that was coming.
It's a virus. That's all you'll think about is running. Yeah, that's it now. Every conversation I have, I slip running into somehow, no matter if it's at work, friends or family. So it's like, oh, my life sucks. Oh yeah, I just ran 30 miles and I fit it in somehow.
Yeah, Danielle, I'm telling you now, Danielle, you might want to warn all your family and friends now that you are going to start talking about running way more often. And with that, I also want to shout out, we've got Michael Bartlett, the other guy who I'm going to be training throughout the summer. So I'm glad to see you here, Michael. I know he's busy. He's got kids that he's trying to get to bed, so I appreciate him dropping in.
Man, you're the conductor, man. You're training a lot of people. Good for you.
Yeah, I'm jumping in with both feet. I want to learn this stuff. I want to learn how to deal with people and how to keep them healthy.
I'm going to learn how to deal with people too. It's been a struggle for a very long time. This past year did not help.
Oh dear.
Okay, so I don't know, guys, if we've kind of already beaten this subject to death as far as hydration goes, but
I want to dive in. Ahead. I'll dive in a little bit on my end, because things, as I said, are a little bit different. The heat aspect of it is just another story or factor that's thrown into running, because when I do my training runs, it's whatever life allows me to do that day. Like, because a lot of my runs are 10 to 20 miles and stuff like that. So it's whenever I could fit it in between work and being a husband and being a dad. So it's like, hey, I have 2.5 hours, I have 3 hours or whatever between this time. I might have to get less sleep, wake up and run. I work third shift, so I'm not home until 8 a.m. So I might sleep until 11, get up at 11 and run until 2 because the kids are on their way home from school then, and then I might take another hour nap or something before I go back to work. And I run in the snow. I don't like the ice and I don't like the wind, but I still run in that. So it's whatever Mother Nature throws at you. I believe it's mostly up here. Races are a little bit different though. I am a little bit more aware during race time because from running 50, 60, 100 miles and stuff like that, I throw up a lot because my GI system can't handle the heat and stress. Because I know like 2 separate 100-milers that I ran were in the 90s with like 95% humidity. So you just have to be more aware of what's going on. So more, I should be drinking this much of fluid in between aid stations. I need to get ice at the next aid station. Ooh, there's a stream. I need to lay down in the stream for 30 seconds to a minute to lower my core temperature because my GI system is, if I eat to get in fuel, my stomach isn't digesting that because it's sending all that blood to cool the system and it's not using it to digest. So then I get sick and it's like, damn it, like I didn't want to be this sick this early. And then you're working through another equation that sucks because now you're working on how to get more fuel in the system and hydration in the system because you didn't take care of it early enough and manage it from the beginning. And then you're just working through obstacles that are almost self-created. And then you're just trying not to throw up. And if you do, that's more stress on the body and you have to start all over from scratch again until you get over the hump and stuff like that. But the weather itself is just, as I said, another story, just being aware and prepared. I still wear, like on the race this weekend, I'm going to be wearing black. Some of the only colors I own are dark black colors. So even though it's going to be 90 degrees out, like I'm still going to be wearing my same stupid stuff. I just have to be aware that, oh shit, I'm overheating and I might have to slow it down. I might have to bathe in some type of water source that I find or take an extra couple minutes at an aid station because I might lose a few minutes here, but it's better than dying, or passing out on the trail and screwing everything up for the rest of the race. So
Exactly. You bring up a good point, Brian. Something I want to touch on with everybody here. Under ideal conditions, when you're in a race, but you know what I mean? If everything's going your way and the weather's playing nice and everything, even then, just the demands on your muscles for those long periods, trying to get hydration and trying to get your fueling right is difficult enough. Once you add in the heat, things get really, really difficult because
your calculations are skewed then because you have that added extra stress factor that's thrown in there and you're not accustomed to that stress factor. So you are figuring it out as you go along. So being prepared is a big thing. But yes, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, and that has a lot to do with why I do that self-torture and go out in the heat of the day, just so that I get used to what it feels like. So I know the difference between, oh God, I'm really hot, and oh God, I'm about to pass out.
Right.
And it's like if you're just getting started with running and you don't know how to deal with that yet, then of course you can still go out in the heat of the day and everything. If it really worries you that much, then find something that's kind of close to home and keep looping back by your house or your car or something so that you're always assured that moment when if you need to stop, you can. If you need to hydrate, you can. If you need to refuel, you can. It's all going to be right there. And so then once you kind of get used to it, then of course you can start altering things. but
Ex-
learning
Yeah.
what works first, you know.
Problem solving is huge in my field because each race that you do is going to have its unique roadblocks that you're going to run into. And like, even like Courtney DeWalter and stuff like that, you know, she's constantly like, all right, this is happening now. Let's figure this out within the next aid station or two. And you problem solve that to where it's not a problem because there's 3 other problems that you have to deal with. And then when you resolve 2 of those 3, there's 3 other problems that pop up. So yeah, figuring things out, and like, you know, you might have a 10-15 mile long run, but you have to have like a game plan to like, here's a breakoff point where I might have to run loops rather than an out and back or something like that. And like be cognizant and a little bit more prepared, especially in training and stuff like that.
And stopping to take stock of, okay, what is the biggest problem right now, and can I fix it?
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful.
Yeah, looking at the problem at hand, and inventory checks, taking stock. That is done often to where like, even is there a rock in my shoe? Taking care of certain like little things, shoes tied properly. For me, like, do I have my headlamp with an extra set of batteries, or like, you know, certain checks, and then taking account for yourself as well. Do I have the proper nutrition and hydration to continue on to the next aid station, so you don't screw yourself, you know?
Let me jump in there.
Sometimes you get lucky and the problems fix themselves, but that doesn't happen all that often.
Yeah. Exactly. One point I really want to make, especially for the newer runners who are watching, there's kind of like a rule of thumb for runners. If you're going out for a run that's going to last an hour or less, you don't need to bring hydration. That rule is utterly out the window in the heat. Don't try that. You don't want to, exactly, right? Because if you get into a state with heat stroke and you're running by yourself, you just don't ever want to take that kind of a chance. There's no point in pushing yourself that hard. Bring a handheld, bring a backpack that with a hydration system, whatever it takes. Don't take chances. I mean, if you're going out for like, you know, 2-3 miles as a beginner, and you know you're going to be back in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you know, maybe take the chance, but you know, like, but if it's blazing hot out there, even on a short run, don't take the chance. Just get that hand held full of ice cold Gatorade or whatever your preferred drink is. And that kind of brings me to where, sorry, I got to pop up here. That kind of brings.
You were so close with the transition, man. So close.
I know. It'll never work out for me. There's a point here. Dr. Andrew just left us a comment saying that he used to live in Corpus Christi, and he used to go out early in the morning just to avoid the heat and the humidity. And he goes on to say he's also heard that running in heat is a kind of running at altitude, and that is exactly right. When I was going through my training just a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago, whatever it was. That is exactly what they called it. They called it the poor man's altitude training. So if you know you're going to be running a race that's got a much higher elevation than what you train at, if you've got the opportunity to get on your treadmill and get the room temperature up a little bit, or go out in the heat if it happens to be summer, take advantage. Put
the garbage bags on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's a little chancy, but
no, I don't do that stuff. I would die if I did that stuff.
Yeah. And the only other thing that I learned that I found really interesting on that same related topic is if you are like a lowlander and you're going to run a race that's up at much higher elevations, is don't get there to run before you have to run more than.
Give yourself some time to acclimate.
Well, this is a weird thing, because if you're gonna race at altitude, get there within 48 hours, preferably within 24 hours, and you should not feel the altitude effect. If you are going to be more than 48 hours in this new place at altitude, you may want to hang around for 2 full weeks before the race to try to acclimate. So there's this weird thing: either run immediately or you got to wait.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that stuff interests me because like I would love to run like a hard rock or something like that for like 100 milers and things that I would really enjoy running, like an epic 100 miler to where like you see Lord of the Rings type environments and stuff like that. And some of those are, you know, you see like Jamil Curry with the Run Steep Get High, like some of the videos that he puts on. It is Lord of the Rings. It does look, it's so beautiful. It looks fake. But yeah, the high altitude sickness is, I think, something that I would be pretty afraid of, especially with like my migraines and stuff. But if I ever got in the lottery, besides like Western states or something like that, but to one of these bigger ones, like a hard rock, I would, because of my lifestyle, it's take a flight and get there the night before, probably, maybe sleep outside or maybe a hotel for me, run the race and then fly back, because that's how life is. I don't have a luxury to acclimate and take time off. And, you know, I'm average Joe guy runner.
Exactly.
That does crazy stuff. But like, you know, that for real people, that's the right thing to do is to go there and work out the acclimation aspect of that. And heat does help, but still the high altitude sickness type stuff, you can't really get around. If you're going to get it, you're just going to get it and be screwed. So be mentally prepared. That's all.
Yeah. But exactly. The just in time thing actually works to your advantage. So keep that in mind. And Heather, you started us on a subject earlier that I want to explore a little bit more, and just to dig in a little bit deeper on hydration. When the heat hits, it's important for all of us to be a little bit more mindful of not just our liquid intake and making sure that we're topped up hydration wise, but we also, if we want to stay healthy, we have to increase our electrolyte intake. Is there anything you do? Are there any like drinks or regimens or anything? Because I know you're doing a lot of explorations with different drink mixes and stuff lately. So is there anything, do you have go-to favorites that you'd recommend to everybody watching?
I use Tailwind a lot. And that was after so many people were like, you need to try it. You got to try this. You really need to try this. And I was like, okay. So I ordered a sampler pack and I was like, wow, this stuff is really good. And it works. It really does the trick for me. So
I'm glad to hear that, because I'm a big Tailwind fan myself.
Yeah, I did Tailwind for a while. I can't use it more than 20 miles because then it starts to affect my stomach. And I've similar to a lot of my other running group friends that I talk to, because a lot of our PA races had Tailwind like as a sponsor. It was at every aid station. And that's what I used to, I had my own and stuff like that all mixed out. And after a certain mileage, it started to turn my stomach, and I thought it was just me. And then I had a few other people say the same thing, that their first initial, because we wear hydration packs, our first initial full fill of hydration pack is with Tailwind mix in it. And then you're usually partially filling up your pack again, like at 1 or 2 aid stations to a certain mileage. And then it's just diluted with water and water and water and water until it dilutes totally out. And then you're using food and other things, and water is my specific hydration to where like Tailwind and some of the other mixes, I'm pretty sure I could still drink like a Gatorade and stuff like that, but certain specialized stuff, which I think they're made to help with GI issues and stuff like that.
Right.
There's a lot of science behind it. And I did a lot of research when I first started doing it. And when I was running marathons and stuff like that, it worked. After my marathon distance, that's when it starts to destroy me. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, that's something I have yet to experience, is those super, super long runs. So far, Tailwind is doing the trick for me. But I mean, is there anything?
If it works, keep up to it. like what you're doing. So,
And I can usually only do Tailwind with a flavor if I'm just doing like, maybe if I'm just refueling after a run or something. But if I'm going to be running for a long time and I'm going to keep drinking and drinking and drinking it, I usually go with the unflavored, because after a while, the flavored ones just start to taste really sweet. And my stomach goes, I'm really tired of this. So I stick to the unflavored if I'm going to be out there for a while and I'm just going to keep drinking it.
Yeah, you know what I do is actually, because the green tea buzz is my favorite flavor, just because of the caffeine that's in there too. But I experience exactly the same thing, Heather. By later in a race, it makes the later stages of a longer race even worse, because like every time you have to drink, but you just hate the taste every single time you take it. So what I've actually started doing lately is I mix the green tea flavor with the Tailwind Naked flavor, which is unflavored.
Right.
So it just dilutes it down and it's like tolerable at that point. But,
and then if I'm doing like a longer race, like for example, when I do the Disney World Half Marathon or something like that, they have a lot of aid stations, and on one side of the road you have Powerade, and on the other side of the road you have water. And I'll switch off at each aid station. I'll do Powerade this time, I'll do water the next time, because I can't do just one or the other, or my body will go, nope, I'm done.
Yeah. At your normal aid stations, once again, a marathon question, do you have other alternatives rather than like a water and Gatorade? Is there cups of soda there? Is there pickle juice?
Nope.
Not on
Yeah, and road races, it's just water and Gatorade or Powerade or whoever's sponsoring whatever
sports drink, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
If you want
I've never
anything
seen
else,
anything besides that.
Yeah, if you want anything else, you have to like have somebody waiting for you at an aid station or carry it with you. But
no, because our aid stations, like I think there might be like 12 or so in this week's 100K, and each aid station has its own like theme. So the volunteers like might be pirates or something, something like kooky just to keep you motivated. But a lot of them have their own specialized, like one station might have, it's a buffet at each one. So, but one might have pierogies. One might have like some type of pizza, quesadilla. There's bacon almost at every station. I drink, especially in the later races, soda. Like I bang like I drink soda occasionally because it's poison, but it's so good. My family really drinks it pretty heavily. In races, I drink it pretty heavily. It's almost refreshing to me. They have ginger ale that's flat. They have ginger ale regular. They have like Coke flat and regular free as well. The coconut water, and then there's like buffet of chips, pretzels, and then you have your Swedish fish and M&Ms and a lot of junk food for people that eat sweets. And then there's a lot of junk food that people that need salt, potatoes and salt and stuff that are there. And there really is like a buffet at each of these aid stations. So I know
usually at road races, if it's a half marathon, if it's a half marathon, you'll have maybe one fuel station. They'll have like gel or sports beans or something like that. And sometimes
usually like in the latter miles, like when they know people are starting to get desperate, they'll provide a few of those. But
Dr.
Andrew,
other
than that, you got to bring it. So
Dr. Andrew was saying too much water can dilute the cells. I just wanted to make a point that in the ultras, when I say that I'm drinking all water, it's because I'm eating a shitload of stuff to balance out the electrolytes and stuff like that. Because especially in the longer, like the 100K is 19 hours and stuff like that, you're going to have cravings throughout the day. Like I might crave like bacon cheeseburgers. That's like my big thing. My pacer is going to be at mile 50. Tomorrow I'm going to give her like all my supplies and stuff like that. I'm giving her 4 bacon cheeseburgers, and I'm going to give her 4 Dr. Peppers as well. And some Middlesworth chips. I don't know if you guys have them where you are, but I have like a certain salty, but like I crave I guess it's the protein that I'm looking for in the meat. But I will eat probably 2 of those bacon cheeseburgers, and I'll take one with me. And as I'm running and in a zombie form, like I'll take a bite here and there, just to get some type of solid in me. But throughout the race, though, most races, especially when it's hot, fruit, tons of watermelon,
Good point.
tons of cantaloupe. There's like grapes and shit like that like you're grabbing handfuls. And I'll go in certain aid stations and I'm emptying my pockets full of like excess like fruit that's all squashed and stuff because I'm fueling at the aid station, and then I'm taking a bunch of fuel for in between because it's a constant trying to burn, fuel. And if you get to a point where you're drained or you're super hungry, like you're really far behind then, like you're really in deficit mode.
Fruit salad.
Yeah. It's amazing because like for those longer like ultra efforts, taking in more protein is so important because it's more of a slow burn. You know what I mean? Like you just got to keep your body in general good shape to cover those kind of distances.
Totally.
Where it's like, like all that stuff you hear about like marathons and shorter races where you just want carbs because you're just burning as hot as you can. That definitely does not apply to Brian's situation where he's just going for unbelievable amounts of miles. But guys, I know we're coming up on an hour here, so I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit just to say, so that we can say we covered our bases when it comes to heat training. Talk about some of the ways to get around the heat, from whether that be the kind of clothing you wear, less clothing, thinner clothing. I wanted to put in a quick shout out to make sure you wear sunscreen. Heather, I know you can speak to that in a big way, and I want to give you the opportunity to do so. Don't forget about your sunglasses. Don't forget about your anti-chafe, because when you're sweating more, and especially if you're a salty sweater, it can get painful out there if you start to chafe. You can also change the time of day you run. Get out there before the sun comes up. You can also get on your treadmill if you're lucky enough to have one. I just hit everybody with everything that was left in the question list because I know we're short on time and I know everybody's got someplace to be. But Heather, from that gigantic list I just threw out there, talk about favorite clothes. What would you recommend to people? Sunscreen, talk about the importance of that, and just go to town.
Well, I mean, as far as your clothes go, make sure that you're staying away from cotton clothing whenever possible. It's just going to soak up your sweat and weigh you down, and it causes major chafing. So you're definitely going to want to invest in things that will wick away. Yeah. Or Band-Aids,
Yeah.
So definitely find the stuff that's going to wick away the sweat. Find socks that are going to help control blisters, because that is another big part of it. I have invested in a great collection of cooling sleeves that have UV protection in them. You can get them wet, you can put them on your arms, and they're going to help cool your arms down and protect you from the sun. Make sure that you are checking the SPF on your sunscreen. Make sure that you put it on at least 20 minutes before you go out, and do another layer of it about every 90 minutes. So if you're going to be running longer than an hour and a half, make sure that you can maybe bring a travel size one with you, have it with all the rest of your hydration, your fuel, stuff like that. But make sure that you are replacing it as often as you can. Check and make sure that you're wearing around an SPF 35 to an SPF 50. That's what they found to be the most effective area for if you're going to be out in the sun. And make sure that you remember the top of your head as well. So wear something that's going to protect your head and shade your eyes, because squinting into the sun, actually, they have shown that it does wear your body down. That puts extra tension in your body. So make sure you're wearing a visor, a hat, sunglasses, anything that's going to protect your eyes, because not only is it good for your eyes, but it's going to help the rest of your body as well.
That was just a master class in the space of 2 minutes. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah. I like to reply with the same thing that she just said.
Cool, guys. Just so that we don't run too far over, we did have the idea that everybody who's watching, we're going to play a little game here just to close things off, just a little bit of what we call a lightning round of questions, just so that you get to know us just that little bit better before we sign off for the night. So, Heather, I'm going to leave it to you. We've all got 5 sort of A or B type questions that we're going to ask each other. And Heather is going to start off by asking Brian 5 quick questions, and just gut reaction as fast as you can. Just give your answers.
Oh boy. Okay. I'm unprepared. Go for it.
On a long run, would it be worse for you to run out of fuel or worse for you to run out of hydration?
Oh, that's a great point. I would say hydration.
Okay. If there was one race that you were guaranteed entry into it every single year, but that would be the one race that you have to run every year for the rest of your life, what would it be?
That would be a toss-up between UTMB or Western States, just because they're awesome. So,
what is one thing that you never leave at home when you're going on a run? You always have to have it with you.
My phone.
Understandable.
Yeah, I take tons of photos and video, and my phone is my backup. And plus, if I get hurt or run out of food or hydration, I could call my wife and cry to her and have her pick me up.
What is the one thing that you wish they had at every single race aid station?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. That one I don't have an answer for. every aid station I've been to in these water, because there's been 2 separate races that I've been in that late in the stage they didn't have water left, and it was really hot out, and I was like, "Yo, this is an ultra. That's like that's the main thing. Like I don't have my straw to drink from the stream. So yeah." Proper supplies should be the answer.
And finally, if they played a song every time you crossed the finish line, what would it be?
Wow, good question.
I'm a huge Dave Matthews fan, but I would have to go with like a Daft Punk type, Harder, Better, Stronger type.
Oh, that's a good one.
Type. Yeah, that's I like Daft Punk type electronic music. I'm a huge Dave fan though.
That's awesome.
All right, that's your 5.
Awesome. Now,
like
Brian, do you want to go next, or do you want me to do the question asking next?
Go ahead, man. Go for it.
Okay, Heather, I'm going to ask these of you.
Okay.
Okay, these are just quick little A or B.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Road or trail?
Road has always been where I've come from, so that's what I stick with. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Eat to run or run to eat?
Run to eat.
Gotcha. Okay. Peace of mind or PR?
Peace of mind. I don't always hit a PR, but if I've done my best, I still feel good about it.
Awesome.
That's good.
Obsessed or setting an example?
Both, really.
Great answer. Last question. Training or racing?
That's a good one too.
I'd say training, because a whole lot of running, it's not the destination, it's the journey. I mean, don't get me wrong, crossing that finish line is an unbelievable feeling, but just all the ups and downs and the heartbreak and everything and the scheduling, the internal conflicts, everything that comes with your training runs and trying to get a training schedule done, you grow from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a dumb one-liner, but it's true though. Yeah, it is the journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm absolutely all about the training. I think anybody who trains for, any of these longer races they just learn to love the process. So Very cool.
All right, my turn. Let's see what we got going on here. All right, Sweet or salty? Paul.
Sweet every day.
Okay. Favorite running season?
Winter, strangely enough.
Really?
Yeah, love it cold.
Not me. That sucks. Solo runs or group runs?
Solo all the way. I mean, just because I'm used to it. Like being in a group feels weird. Like I like it. I love talking to people, but you know what I mean? It's just, it feels foreign.
Yeah, I'm not good at carrying on conversation when I'm running.
Yeah.
I don't shut up. Yeah, I steamroll everybody's conversation. It's yeah. I might be terrible on group runs. Let's see here. Bacon or no bacon?
Oh, bacon all the way. Oh man. I don't care if the burger's not on there. I just want the bacon.
Right. Hills or sprints?
I don't
if you're
mind
gonna torture,
hills.
if you're gonna torture yourself, you know.
Yeah, it's funny because I really don't mind hills, but I love sprints. So I'll go sprints.
Yeah, I don't know if I skipped any here. How about would you rather one big race a year or multiple races a year?
Yeah, I like multiple now. I used to put so many eggs into the more like one big marathon every year, and then if it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, it's like you just feel horrible. But you know, I love getting a million chances to get it right. So yeah, I love a lot of shorter races these days.
Cool. There's my 5-ish. I don't know. I'm not good at counting.
Yeah, no, that was great. That was great. So, so guys, before we get out of here, I want to give everybody one last chance to plug what you're up to, what's coming up, and where people can find you. I will, and I know I should have done this before, put all this stuff in the description, but I got lost somewhere along the way. But all this stuff will be shared in the show notes. But shout yourself out one last time.
Okay, well, I'm Running Geek Girl, and that's the same thing on Facebook and TikTok and Twitter and Instagram. It's always Running Geek Girl. I'm still working on marathon training, so updates on that, and then a lot of just little things coming up. More of my Run the USA series, more of Running Geek Girl book club, more taste tests, and some vacation stuff coming up. So stay tuned.
Awesome.
Right, I'm Brian from Rasa Runs. Run distance. I have a 100K series that's going on. I have the actual race this Saturday. The series will still continue for a while because I got some backlog stuff. I have a 100-miler coming up in July. This whole season is for suicide prevention. If you hit up any of my social links, which is all Rasa Runs, which don't do too much on Twitter, but I still put a little bit on there. But on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, of course, and TikTok now. I'm on there. You could, if you hit up my links, I have stuff to the suicide prevention, trying to raise some money to help some people out.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I do dumb running stuff. That's all. Long distance, and yeah, I got a couple series going on, but that's about it. Cool.
Super cool. So let's see. I'm obviously DevRunner. If you wouldn't be watching this if you hadn't already found my YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram as the DevRunner, and you can find me on Strava as Paul DeVillo. That's PaulDevIllo. I think that's about it. I just want to take the opportunity to thank you guys for being here. I really enjoyed the conversation. It flew by. I can't believe we've been going for over an hour. Yep. Yeah. But guys, I'm just going to say again, thank you. And I just want to remind everybody that we get together once a month. It's always the first Thursday at 7 p.m. of each and every month. And I believe Susie is set to host the next one. So you're going to want to head over to I Run Things on YouTube, and you'll learn more as the month progresses. So with that, guys, I want to thank you again for being here, and have a great night. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.
Bye.
Peace out, everybody.
Bye-bye.